Hello and welcome to the Your Town television program. I'm your host Wendy Brickman of Brickman Marketing here on the first Tuesday of every month, and we have a very special show tonight. We have Liz Elves, co-owner and founder of Carousel Candies, and as you can see I'm feeling like I'm in Candyland here. And we'll also be speaking with Bart Walker, who's president of Pacific Ag Rentals and Star Sanitation Services. So it's going to be a wonderful program, and we'll get started right away to welcome Liz Elves. Welcome.
Welcome.
So glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, we started in 1969 when we got married, and at the present time the store had bought candies, and I would be like letting the people know that, you know, it was good fresh candy, but somehow I didn't feel good about it, and my husband said, I think I'm going to make my own candy. And I got scared. So I continued to order the candy. And he told me, he said, why are you ordering candy? I told you I'm going to make it. So look at this peanut brittle. So I looked it over and I said, I don't know. I don't think that looks like peanut brittle is supposed to look. And then he made another batch. And it came out fabulous. So then he got encouraged and he started to make the French chocolate fudge. So we started to give samples. And we started to sell the fudge like crazy. Then he started making all the different flavors of fudge, so I started to get really confident in him. The business started to soar. And then he said, I think I'm going to make my own saltwater taffy. And then I really got scared because I said, oh, I don't know if you can make saltwater taffy. He says, I think I can. So he got a wrapper that is from England, and it wraps 500 pieces a minute.
Wow.
And we make 43 flavors, and the saltwater taffy, people buy it from back east. Even though they're used to their saltwater taffy, they buy it from us. So we just, it's just became bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where we have 17 employees now, 6 candy makers, and we have about, let's see, 10 or 11 employees. And we're packaging from morning till night. So we've just enjoyed this business together because it's kind of a fun business. And it's the type of business that everybody's happy when they walk in, and they're happy when they walk out.
Exactly.
So,
well, so it's on Carousel Candies, located next to Old Fisherman's Grotto. And one of the things I love about it is that it stays open late at night.
It does. We're the latest shop that walks out in the evening. We'll walk out sometimes 11:30, 12 o'clock. Because of the stocking, packaging, getting ready for the next day. So there's longer hours that they could visit us. And even if we close like at midnight, there's always somebody knocking on the door, and we can't turn them away. So we open the door and they say, oh, I just got to have that caramel corn, because that's what we're really known for, is our caramel corn. We began with this caramel corn, and people send other people to buy the caramel corn for them when they know they're visiting the Monterey Peninsula. They say, oh, you just got to go down to the Carousel and bring me a box of caramel corn. So it's started with the caramel corn. And they just love the smells in there.
It is. You know, it's fun to go in there, and you were just telling me that you had ice cream, and I was like shocked because I never even looked at the ice cream. I can't look past some of the things on the table. So let's start with showing the viewers, you know, some of the beautiful things you create.
Okay.
So I guess we'll start with the taffy.
Okay.
So here we have, what kind of taffy?
This is, we've been making this for 2 years. We came up with making a sea salt caramel saltwater taffy. And we started out by giving samples, and there wasn't anyone that didn't say they didn't love it. So we can't hardly keep up with it. It is a big seller. It's delicious. You just get that little bit of salt. It's like, I explain to people, it's like a good wine. It has a good finish. As you're chewing it, all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's the salt. And then we got real creative and we started dipping that piece in chocolate. So now we have a chocolate sea salt caramel that's in some of the homemade assorted boxes that we have here that we've brought. So that's a good one, too.
So hand me this one. So this, okay, this.
That's our newest creation, the Italian Toroni.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So this bag of taffy right in front of you.
This is our assorted saltwater taffy.
So I've seen it made
flavors.
in the back. An Australian television show came and you invited me to watch, and they hopefully will be putting it on the air, and we'll have a link to it on your Carousel Candies television.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Yes. So these are some of the flavors. So
There's
each one has a
43.
different, it's
43.
amazing.
And the only flavors that we really keep are the ones that you know what you're eating. We don't have flavors
for
that
example?
non-existent. Like, it's difficult to create a flavor like, I would say like cookies and cream. We had to really work on that one because the ones that have the real oils, we use oils instead of imitation, and we use real chocolate in the chocolate taffy instead of extract. So we put 2 types of chocolate in the chocolate taffy. That's why it's so good. So the saltwater taffy we consider more of a gourmet taffy, and it's very complimentary when you've got the East Coast buying your saltwater taffy when they started with saltwater taffy.
Absolutely. And one thing we should say is, of course, you have the saltwater taffy stretcher in your window, which is, I say it's stress reducing. It's a antique.
It's hypnotizing.
Yeah, it's just mesmerizing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
so
the
it's stretching.
40-pounder is in the back.
Okay.
There's a 40-pound
That's right.
puller to be able to make 43 flavors. The little machine only makes 5 pounds.
I know, but it's so fun to watch.
Yes.
So now this one must be for the holidays. 'cause
Today, they just got through
gorgeous.
making the Christmas tree saltwater taffy.
How do you get a Christmas tree?
Oh,
It's a secret.
we have so many creative candymen. They just get better all the time.
That's wonderful. So then, one of our favorites, and I do want to say early on that you're going to be doing a promotion in December
That's
called the
right.
Sweet Treats Celebration of your husband's 50th anniversary of being a confectioner.
That's right.
And what you're doing that I think is so cool is offering some wonderful specials and donations to the Monterey County Fair Heritage Foundation. And we decided that that was kind of a fun thing because it's like celebrating the Monterey County Fair 365 days a year in terms of the sweet treats that you
That's right.
offer.
That's right.
So
We're excited
December
about
is going to
that.
be very exciting. You'll see some new people. So this is a beautiful, and you can cut these, right?
Yes. In fact,
Candy
most people
caramel.
now, they want them cut.
Yeah.
And we always offer to cut them. One thing special,
Which
I
one is
have to
this?
say, that's
Rocky?
our Rocky Road, about our apples,
Yes.
is a lot of shops, they don't make the caramel from scratch. That is one thing we do. We have always, for 44 years, made our caramel from scratch. So the caramel is very good. We get only the finest apples. I never even see an apple that isn't a good apple. They're very particular how they sort our apples. So we have no complaints. And we use the Belgian chocolate
Oh, wow.
and the semi-sweet chocolate on that.
Now this particular one is
That
covered
is
in-
our traditional peanut caramel apple.
great.
And those are fresh roasted peanuts. They're not just peanuts.
We've talked about the
roast
nuts.
the nuts, and then we put them through a grinder, and then that's our traditional apple there.
And then this one?
That is, it's hard to have a favorite, but that's my favorite. That's the chocolate pecan apple with the pecans come from the grower. We don't buy the pecans locally. We have a farmer bringing these pecans to us. And so we've put your Belgian milk chocolate in there and then our delicious white chocolate with the pure caramel.
Wow.
So that's kind of my real favorite. But
Now-
they're all good.
All right. And then this is,
Our marzipan.
this is my favorite because I love marzipan.
know.
What is marzipan?
It's crushed almond paste.
Right.
Is what it is. We started making just 1 or 2 little fruits, but it started really selling. And so now we make the pear, the watermelon, the little pig, and the peach, and it's so fresh. And you don't find those sizes like that. So we even have a pretty good business on that.
I'm sure. And then we talked about a little bit of, these are butter toffee almonds. They look gorgeous.
We've been making the nuts for about 13 years. It was funny because I had gone to a show and I wanted to put popcorn back into the store. So I told my husband, I said, I want to get this popcorn machine. So the salesman's looking at me and he's starting to write it up. My husband says, no, I don't think so. I think I'm going to get this pralinator. I'm going to do my own almonds and cashews. And I'm like, you're kidding. Because I'm thinking, how does he know how to do these things? So he formulated his own recipe, and we sell a lot of the butter toffee almonds and the butter toffee cashews. A lot of the convention people, they have it at their meetings on the table. So we've gotten a pretty good business from the convention center.
Great.
For the nuts.
Now here's another one of my favorites.
This is Wendy's favorite.
Yes. So this is
our famous caramel corn.
Right, but
Drizzled in the Belgian chocolate and the white chocolate. And then we also do it with the semi-sweet. And this particular gourmet caramel corn is hard to put down. Once you open it,
yeah,
you
it
can't
is.
stop.
I'll drink to that. Right, unfortunately, that's true. Okay, and then we have this gorgeous ribbon candy, which I don't think I've seen it. It's historic. It's
It
just
really
gorgeous.
is. The machine itself is, I think it's about 80 years old, and it's got to be thinly stretched, and it is labor consuming, but the customers really appreciate the fact that we are still doing old-time ribbon candy, and it sells real well.
And then I've never seen anything
This
like
is,
this.
we started out making that about 20 years ago. It's a candle holder.
Yeah.
And we make two sizes. We make the large tapered one, and then we make the little miniature. And people wrap them up in white tissue after the holidays. They don't burn them. And as long as they don't get any moisture, they're able to use it again as decoration.
That's
so
very
those sell
creative.
really well, and they're just adorable.
Moving on to the holidays, this is
That's
Okay.
our large candy cane, but we even make one larger. We make it 3 foot.
wow. How
That one's a little over 24 inches.
It's
And instead
yeah.
of just the peppermint, we have several flavors. This one is Tutti Frutti. And so they started a little early so that, because we knew we were going to have a very busy December. And they just did a wonderful job on that one.
It is gorgeous.
And it's Tutti Frutti in flavor.
And there's a story to this?
There's a little story.
Here, why don't you read
Let
the
me read
story?
this little story.
It's
Believe
so
it or not,
beautiful.
my granddaughter found the story, and so we thought of putting them on the candy canes. The legend of the Christmas candy cane. A candy maker wanted to make a special sweet for Jesus' birth. He made a candy cane of the color white for goodness of God and red for the sacrifices he made. If you turn the candy cane upside down, it is a J for Jesus.
Oh, my. Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it is.
So we put those little cards on all the canes.
How does anybody
Maxine, my
eat
little
all of
granddaughter.
this? I mean, do you cut it? Let's
They
say you had
break
it
it up. They
you
break
break
it
it up like it'd be perfect at your holiday parties.
Yeah, they break it up.
Yeah, and then
But it's the novelty of having it.
yeah, it's
And they
great
sell
decor.
down to the last one because they know they're handmade.
Now we talked about the peanut brittle being one of the
That was the very first thing
Right.
that my husband Rick ever made.
and
he
perfected
puts-
it. I can tell.
He puts more peanuts than I've ever seen in peanut brittle. So they're hot roasted, and the minute they're just a little bit cool, he immerses them into the brittle. And our secret, of course, is we put more butter than most people.
Okay.
And so it's really buttery peanut brittle. It's just delicious.
But again, a little goes a long way.
A
I
little
mean,
goes a long
we
way.
just talked about you might have something sweet one time during the day.
I do.
If you are, why not have a homemade,
Because you're going to have it someplace.
right.
You're
at
going to
least
give in
during the-
somewhere.
Now this is very creative. How do
Yeah.
you do this? This is
This is a chocolate
house.
gingerbread house. Instead of gingerbread,
Yes.
we've used chocolate.
Great.
And of course, it's Belgian chocolate, so it's a really fine chocolate. And then we've put the white chocolate. And sometimes we even decorate them. A lot of people come in and they might ask us to decorate the windows and so on and make little holly wreaths. So that's a really good seller too.
It's very creative. Now, this is very exciting because this is the
brand new.
first I've seen it.
Brand new.
And talk about this.
We've been talking about making our homemade cheese corn for years, but we only have so large of a tray. The problem with our shop is it's small.
Yes.
So my husband, again, figured out a way. He's pretty creative, and he got another machine in there, and we bought the best of the cheese, and we
What,
perfected
cheddar?
it.
Is it
the
cheddar?
And there's white cheese and cheddar cheese, and that's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's delicious. So that started taking off immediately, and we've only had it for 2 weeks.
What a he's so creative.
He
You've got to
is.
admit. I
He
mean,
is.
and after 50 years,
He's
you know,
inventive.
right, and
Very
that, and we all benefit
So we
from it.
blend together.
Now this is a traditional but gorgeous. Oh my goodness, there's an apricot. I forgot
Yeah.
about the apricots.
Another one
Australian
of your favorites,
apricots.
yes.
Right.
At the time when we start doing these apricots, there was a big candy convention that came to the DoubleTree, and they had never seen a white chocolate apricot. We were the first people that ever dipped it in white chocolate. So they're like, geez, you make a white chocolate apricot? Because on the East Coast, they're more about the dark and the milk. So I noticed that they just started doing them all over the place. But people love them. They are from Australia, and then we dip them in the finest white chocolate. So they're a good seller, too, as well.
What else might we find in a
Oh,
box?
that's our really deluxe box. That's our homemade pecan roll. That's your panoche fudge, dipped in the caramel from scratch, and then dipped in the pecans. And then the Rocky Road, what's special about ours is we make a marshmallow from scratch. And we don't spare any expense. We put a lot of nuts in the Rocky Road. And it's my sister Evelyn's favorite. She's always like, give me some Rocky Road. She loves it. Then there's the homemade English toffee in there. There's honeycomb. There's macadamia clusters. There's peanut clusters. There's our famous turtles. We make pecan, macadamia, cashew, and almond turtles. And I think there's some honeycomb in there, too.
Oh, that's
so
good.
it's funny to say, but there isn't any candy that's slow in that store. Or
No.
it wouldn't be there.
No, I know. Now, what's this?
That is our newest creation. We started at Columbus Day, and we used to make it, maybe 30 years ago, we used to make Italian Tironi.
Now, what's
Italian Tironi? It's a nougat that people have put almonds in. They make it in Italy, started in Italy. They come in these cute little boxes at your little gourmet stores. So on the Wharf, they had everything Italian. So we thought of bringing back the Italian Tironi.
That's right.
Well, he dipped it in semi-sweet chocolate, and it took off. So we decided, even the children were buying it. So we decided that it's going to be 7 days a week that we now have a new candy. But we'll also have it without the chocolate. It's just that tonight I brought it with the chocolate.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I had it during the event.
You had it with the pistachios.
Now, one thing I wanted to bring up is your ability to, and I think this is one thing you personally enjoy, find a container that can be customized for an event for a client. So, for example, the Monterey Cowboy Poetry Festival and Music Festival coming up in mid-December, you found something for it. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we found a vintage mold that we had, and it was a cowboy. And we dipped them in the mold, and we used the best chocolate, the Belgian chocolate, and I bought several cowboy hats, and we're going to display them in the cowboy hats.
That'll be very creative.
And they're really cute.
No, and then with the Monterey County Fair for the Spawn Gifts, because the theme was at the heart of it all, you made beautiful green chocolate hearts.
That's right.
And then there were little bags of taffy at the kickoff dinner, and those went quickly. I wanted to also point out, so this is kind of a great touristy thing, greetings from Monterey mug. So you stuff mugs with the taffy, and
Yes,
there's a
we
blue
do.
taffy.
And we have every different type of mug, every design, and then we always put a little shell there, so it's a nice little souvenir from Monterey.
Yeah.
And people, a lot of people I know, they keep them in their RVs, and they use them for camping, and it's just kind of fun.
That's a good
They
idea.
take their little mug with them.
And then this is another
Our
container.
little Wharf box.
I love
It's our
that.
cute little Wharf tote, Fisherman's Wharf tote.
Wow.
And people just love bringing that back.
Absolutely, a perfect souvenir, and yeah, and you can reuse the box, I guess. That's perfect.
And it's really cute.
But I love the creativity. Another time I had a client that was a shoe store, and you found these great, remember?
That's right.
You found some high heel shoes?
I did.
And we
filled them.
Yeah.
They were gorgeous.
Show me this basket.
Well,
now.
this is our
spectacular.
holiday basket, but we do Thanksgiving, Easter, and Halloween. This is a Christmas basket, an example of one of the Christmas baskets, and that's got about 3 pounds of assorted, all the best selection of candy. And we have a lot of orders. Even the hospital places orders from us, a lot of the customers there. In fact, the funny thing is, unfortunately, when we've had to make trips to the hospital for different things, we're always like, you've been so good to us. What could we bring you? And they're like, I just want some of your saltwater taffy. So you would think everybody wants the chocolate. They love it. But they do love the saltwater taffy. And the doctors and the nurses say, just bring me some of that good saltwater taffy. So anyway, we have these in all different sizes.
Well, this is the chocolate caramel.
That's another new piece. That's
Right,
the
looks
chocolate
stunning.
sea salt caramel. Where that's the vanilla, and then this
Right.
is the chocolate. That
Okay.
came after. And that's kind of neck and neck. People love that too.
Well, that's pretty exciting. I mean, there's a lot of chocoholics in this on this planet, so. And I know one thing you've told me is you love seeing the generations come back, you know.
Yeah, that's so rewarding because, you know, we've been in the business for 50 years. My husband was there before me. I have been involved with him for 44 years when we really got into the business and the confectionery part of it. And we've had a lot of people work for us on the peninsula. And now they bring their children, and I've even seen some of the great-grandchildren.
Wow.
So it's like everybody's favorite place. It's so rewarding when you go places and they tell you that that's my favorite place. Is that your place?
Well, it's a
So
sweet
it's like
reward.
an icon for people.
Now, in fact, tell us a little bit about the History Channel.
Yes, we got a call from the History Channel, and at the time, you know, I didn't know that much about it, but they said, you know, we're going to fly down and we want to do a thing on your saltwater taffy. So they flew down and they did a whole commercial of the saltwater taffy making, and they air it about 4 to 5 times a year. And people come in and they say, oh, I'd seen it on the History Channel just like it was yesterday, because they say that it just, you know, they get a lot of hits from it, and they enjoy putting that on for us. So
You don't complain. No, we love publicity.
No,
But you can also see a clip of it on your website, which is
that's right.
carouselcandies.com. And then you recently put in a TV monitor, so while you're waiting, and you've got great customer service. The gals, you say, they stay with you for years and years. They're wonderful
20
people.
20 years, 20. Candy maker, Nicholas is one of our head candy makers, and he's been with us for 22 years. So we've got his wife in there, his son in there, his brother in there, and his 2 nephews.
That's awesome.
The whole family.
But you put up a monitor so you see behind the scenes
Of the
candy
History
making.
channel, and then we're going to be putting the Romney Dunbar commercial on there.
Great. And then there's the people came from Australia.
Australia. they
Yeah,
did.
hopefully that'll be
Yeah,
done.
we did a whole thing on the candy making with that Australian channel. In fact, it came out last month, and they're supposed to be sending us something that we could put on our monitor too.
And just tying in the carousel, the other reason we thought about the fair was because the carousel is is a symbol of the fair. So you have a pink carousel. That's you've got it outside, and it's the name of your business. And
I love pink, white, and black.
okay, and the colors are nice as well. What else? When people come in, how do they decide? You know, other things you do that I've noticed is you always have thematic. So you just went through Halloween.
Halloween.
And when will you be decorating? Do you do Thanksgiving?
We did Thanksgiving. We used these little trays.
Let's see.
and,
We'll show that one. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
we
think,
did. We used a lot of these little trays, and we also have these other leaves, and we put leaves on everything. And our harvest candy selection is just beautiful. In fact, we're still packaging for that, the
Good.
harvest.
Yeah, well,
And
Thanksgiving's a few
Easter
weeks.
is I have to say the biggest.
Why
We
is
make
that?
our own panoramic sugar eggs. The
That's
eggs that are keepsake, that you could see the scenes inside. And so in the old days, we had to do some of this work at home because it was very, very time consuming. And so we would bring some of our employees over, and we'd start doing these little scenes in the eggs, and it's quite a process because you have to put the sugar in the mold, and then you have to pipe the icing around it, and then you have to make the little scene, and young girls just love those, and even teenagers, and they save them for years. You just wrap them in tissue, and they could be used every year.
And
so
then
we do that, and then we do all different sizes of chocolate bunnies,
That's right.
white chocolate bunnies, and believe it or not, we make strawberry bunnies, and they
That's right.
sell real well. And we've even made some mint bunnies, and we do sugar-free bunnies as well.
That's the other thing I wanted to add. You know, some people, unfortunately, shouldn't eat sugar, and you have the best tasting sugar-free candy I've ever tasted.
We do.
They're so satisfying.
We make homemade turtles in sugar-free because we do the homemade sugar-free caramel, and we do all the nut clusters. So the same nutty clusters that is in our traditional boxes in the showcase is used in the sugar-free chocolate. We also do it with the white chocolate. We do fruit. The fruit really sells. We do cranberry nut sugar-free bark. We do mango and apricot. So there's just something for everybody.
And you ship across the United States? Because I know people will ask me, can you have them ship me something?
That's it. We have an internet site that we've had for about 12 years, and it's very busy during the holidays. You asked about the other holidays. Valentine, we put we have a 7-pound Valentine heart.
Wow,
so we
7 pounds.
We put big blocks of fudge in there, huge pieces of English toffee, large pieces of Rocky Road, all the apricots, all the nut clusters, and it's just gorgeous. And the bigger boxes sell better than the 1-pounders.
Wow, so
because it's extreme.
You're like a chocolate museum. Well, you're a candy museum in a way. I mean, you can just come and feast your eyes. You don't have to buy everything at once.
Right. I just love it.
And you work with a lot of corporations as far as when they do have meetings or clients that they want to spoil.
That's it. Once they asked us to go to the Space Needle in Seattle and asked my husband to train the chef to make saltwater taffy, and they wanted to have it in the Space Needle in the gift shop. So they flew us there and put us in a limo and gave us a 5-course meal. But the chef had too much trouble keeping up with the taffy because he concentrated on so many things that they just had to start buying it from us instead, which that was great.
Yes, you show them. Well, that's the thing. You guys are specialists, and your family also works with you, right?
Yes, it's a family business. The kids love it. One of my sons makes the candy, and the other son is involved more in the marketing end, but his love really is his music. Well, he's ready to put an album out.
Well, I hope it'll have some, maybe he could package the album with some, you know.
That would be good.
Wouldn't it be fun, you know, something like that? And your grandson
and
sometime?
And the grandchildren are, you know,
starting.
I wasn't going to have any family in there, the little kids, but they're so good and they love it. I have them one at a time helping. And when I have one at a time, then it's not, you know, too chaotic. But they do well in there, and they love the business.
Well, they learn customer service skills.
They're learning already. We started them out by passing the little saltwater taffy samples out and being the Easter Bunny.
Aw. And then you have school tours as well come in?
We do. We have, we had 4 classes came, and my son Richard took them in the back, and he explained all the candy making that was going on, and then that group went out, and then the second group in, so can't fit a lot at once because our kitchen is really small. People are amazed how much we could do in that little kitchen.
Well, it's expertise. You basically are both experts in your field. So thank you so much, and thanks for bringing everything to show the viewers. Because
thank you for having me.
Sure, and how can people reach you?
They could reach us at 831-646-9801. And Cheryl is our manager, and Elena, and they're great at taking the orders and accommodating. We do a lot of wedding favors for people. This last week we had 5 weddings that we had to do. Great. A lot of people are giving saltwater taffy and little unique packaging for wedding favors. So Elena and Cheryl, they take the orders. And also, let's see, I guess basically the website, but mostly we get phone orders.
All right. Or people have to force themselves to stop by. And you know, because of your hours, it's very convenient.
Yeah, we're open the longest.
Yeah, and you've got 2 hours free parking for locals in the Fisherman's Wharf parking lot Monday through Thursday.
That's it.
Thank you so much for being with us, Liz.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Okay.
And don't go away. We'll be right back with more of the Your Town television program.